Hey everybody, this episode of Wizards of Waverly Pod is brought to you by Pros. Are you skeptical about custom beauty?
I used to be, yeah.
My wife Yulia, everyone.
Yeah, I actually did not know what to do with my hair until David introduced me to Pros, and now look at this.
Yeah, each and every bottle of Pros' custom hair skincare is made to order and personalized with a unique blend of natural, powerful, proven ingredients to meet your needs. Pros is so confident that you'll love your result that they're offering my listeners an exclusive trial offer so you can see the difference custom care can make.
And now listen to this. 50% off your first subscription order at pros.com/wizards. That's PROSE.com/wizards for your free consultation and 50% off your one-of-a-kind formulas. pros.com/wizards.
Pros.com.
You know, this episode we're talking werewolves, but if you don't want anything about this podcast to change and for us to just keep coming back week after week, you can follow us at
Spotify, Apple, and anywhere you listen to podcasts. Follow us.
Now let's get changing into werewolves, huh? And action.
And the music's going down. Welcome to Wizards of Waverly Pod. Magical stuff happens. There you go. I'm going to make a cake appear. You ready? Cakeus appearus. Fail.
Where's my cake?
Where's my cake? Hi, Jen Stone.
Hi, David DeLuise. How are you? You are rocking all of the Bigfoot merch.
Yes.
I love it.
I'm going to say this. Okay, everybody, you're ready. I, with my wife, opened a cafe, the Bigfoot Cafe.
They know, you said it.
Okay. But here's the thing. I am going to do a giveaway, okay? So when this episode airs, the first person to follow the Bigfoot Cafe on Instagram and also on TikTok, we're going to ask a trivia question.
Okay.
Sorry, the first three. We're going to win a shirt, or you're going to win a cameo from me, or you're going to win a 5-minute conversation that we can have over FaceTime.
Oh, fun.
So follow the Bigfoot Cafe on Instagram, and you might win a Bigfoot Cafe shirt or some time with David DeLuise, a.k.a. Jerry Russo. Okay, this episode is season 2, episode 2.
Be werewolf. Say that time.
Be werewolf. Be werewolf. Hey, be werewolf. Be werewolf.
Why aren't you turning it into like a crooner situation? Okay. I said you turned it into like a crooner situation, like a Sinatra, like back of house thing.
I'm just trying to entertain, Jen.
I love it. You know I love it. So this episode originally aired on September 21st, 2008. It was written by Vince Chung and Ben Montano. Overview of the episode: Justin falls for a new girl he meets over Whizface, but doesn't know she's a werewolf. Max and Alfred, which Alfred goes in the same place that Dragon the dog goes. He's a friend to Max for a little bit, and then he falls off the face of the planet.
I know. When I was watching this, I was like, oh my God,
who's
Jen.
Alfred?
Dragon the dog, gone. Yeah. Right,
well,
Alfred.
He and Jeremy from Science are in the same place.
But wait a minute,
but they start
Alfred,
a business to get cups on a chain.
But just to be clear.
Yeah.
Cups on a chain, so silly.
Well, of course.
But Alfred is not the Russo's dog, right? It just is.
No, I'm saying he went the way of Dragon. Alfred is Max's friend, who was his friend for
a few
episodes.
The character, right.
And then just like flew off, like farted his way up the stairs like Dragon the dog.
Exactly, which I love. We open on the computer. Is a typewriter, which we've established before, right?
Which I have one that looks just like that.
And I'm fascinated with this, and I don't want to start with this, but I'm going to. But the shot, right? So when you do a sitcom, you have 4 cameras, and you're always looking into the house one direction. You never looked in the fourth wall area, but they did have a shot of the computer, and it has his mathematical equation, and then it also has his Whizface profile on there, which I took a picture of.
Yeah. Oh, you did?
I did take a picture of it, and it says he's 16 in the thing, which is interesting because props has to do, or the technical people, maybe it was Justin who put the stuff on the computer, but you have to figure out what those things are, like if you have an ID or that kind of stuff, you know? So now Whizface, I'm going to do a little thing with Jennifer Stone. So this originally aired September 21st,
2008.
2008.
Yeah.
And when did Facebook start?
Oh, geez. In 02?
Okay, 04. Close.
04? Okay,
February
okay.
4th, 04.
Okay.
Twitter, when did that start?
Oh, Jesus. That was when it started earlier, but it got big when we were doing the show. So I'm going to say it came out in 08.
July 15th, 06.
06, okay.
Is when Twitter started.
So it was 02 Facebook, or 04 Facebook, 06 Twitter.
Right.
What about MySpace?
Well,
like,
I don't know
look up.
MySpace, but I have LinkedIn and Pinterest, which is not a big deal. But
Pinterest was much later. I still use Pinterest.
Was 2010.
Okay.
LinkedIn was 03.
Oh, really?
And then Gmail. When did Gmail start, Jen?
Oh, God. Well,
We've
when
already
did Google
said this
come
date
out?
once.
04?
04! Jen still got it right!
I got one right! Yay!
But what's so fascinating to me is that Twitter was kind of around and Facebook was kind of new.
Yeah, and
You know,
Instagram was like at the very tail end because I remember, and I kick myself for it now, but yeah, because I was like tried to hold off as long as possible because I was like, I already have Twitter. I don't want to get on another social media platform.
And then there's the TikToks and the Twitch and the this and the
TTs
that, and there have been some that have gone by the wayside.
Yeah.
Like Dub Smash.
Yeah.
Kind of turned into, was
yeah.
there. And then there was also Vine.
Yeah.
Do you remember Vine?
Yeah. I never got super into it because, like I said, I'm not a huge. I try to be good at it because I feel like it's a necessary evil, but like I don't want 50,000 different social media platforms if I can help it.
I'm going to just find the picture.
So I skipped like Vine and Dub Smash.
Okay, so I already told you David was 16.
Yeah.
And his hobbies, school, chess, robot building.
Yeah, of course.
McReary Time Reary was his favorite spell. Favorite wand, I wand. Favorite band, you can tell me this.
Oh, shoot. It's going to be the meat one. What's the meat one? It's
T.O.B.
T.O.B.
Tears of Blood.
Oh, yeah. That's the meat one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then there was the equation in there, which I paused, and it's like, and she has to say this line, X equals Y squared COS pi is his favorite equation.
I was thinking it was going to be like X equals MXB or whatever.
Overall, did you think this episode was a little odd, a little weird?
We had a few episodes over the show that were just kind of odd and weird. I liked it though, because Sarah Ramos plays, I mean, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but she plays Isabella, who's Justin's blind date, who's the werewolf. And I just remember at the time, and I remember even watching it back, her commitment is like,
she did a great job.
She did a great job because she also too, like, she's done some amazing things since. I mean, I was telling you she was in Babylon.
Right.
She did a great cameo on The Bear. Like, she's, from what I know, she's moved to New York. She's done like the improv scene. She's done some really interesting stuff. And that tracks because like her improv comedy background with being able to just commit so much to doing all of like the dog stuff, which was kind of wolfy, kind of doggish. Right,
because that's a twist. There's a little bit of she's not a dog, she's a werewolf.
She's a werewolf,
which is very interesting.
Which the episodes are 22 minutes, so they reveal, I think, at like 10 minutes in. They reveal it pretty quick. Okay, so Justin's, at the very beginning of the episode, we'll kind of backtrack a little bit. Justin is getting ready for a blind date with his WizTech friends have set him up on with a girl on WizFace, which we talked about that being the Wizards version of FaceTime, Facebook, MySpace, kind of an amalgamation of all of that. Alex tries to discourage him from the date, reminding him that people aren't always who they say they are on WizFace, and reminds Justin of when he invited a centaur to the WizTech prom.
Who we see at the end of the episode, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
So there's a part in this first scene where the supposedly the blind date is coming, and there's a ding dong, and he goes to answer the phone, and it's a neighbor giving us the mail who we never see her again, ever.
To Dragonland she goes.
Right, to Dragonland.
Dragonland.
I just thought that was so interesting. Like, also, you can be an actress. Like, I'm getting a job as the neighbor on this show, and I'm going to be in the hallway, never to be seen from again.
Well, it's New York. You don't talk to your neighbors that much.
That's true. Well, I'm in Los Angeles. I don't talk to the neighbors
That's
either.
True.
Now, blind date. Have you ever been on a blind date?
No, because I don't have that much trust. No, I've never been on a blind date. Have you ever been catfished? I was going to ask you that question.
Yes. Why did you ask me that?
Oh no, you don't. I mean, you don't have to go into detail if you don't want to.
My dad had recently passed away. My house. It was after the
Yeah.
Wizards movie, and I met someone on. I might have been Facebook.
Yeah.
No. I think it. No. It was Twitter. I think it was
Okay.
Twitter, and I never really talked to her on the phone. This and that, and
yeah.
and
FaceTime.
we texted, and I didn't know. And I went to go meet her in the valley, and she never showed up, and I freaked out a little bit. And then I got her on the phone finally, and I got her to admit that I was so pissed.
Well, yeah.
It was so. I
It's
was
the
so
shittiest
angry.
feeling
but
of,
that's
like,
a great
showing up
show, the
and-
catfish, and I mean, it's another dimension that I hadn't been in. So
Yeah. I'm
thank
sorry
you
that
for
happened.
taking me
I'm
back to
sorry
that awful
happened.
time of my
I'm
life.
Sorry.
I was very vulnerable, and it hurt. And anyone who does the catfishing, shame on you.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. That's awful.
Have you been catfished? Or
No, I've never been catfished because again, I have trust issues. But I've been accused of catfishing, which always makes me laugh because I've tried the dating apps.
I did that, and people were like, "You're not who you
Yeah,
really
yeah.
are."
So
you know?
I got accused of. There was one guy I got really fed up. This was years ago. But he was like, "You're catfishing me," and I'm like, if I was gonna pick someone to catfish, don't you think I would pick one of the millions of Instagram models, not the girl that wore fruit on a kid's show? Like, come on, why is that the person you think I would pick?
I understand what you're saying, and just there's some people that don't. People talk to me in person, like,
Yeah.
"Are you Jerry Russo? Are
they-
you?" And I'm
they
like,
give you, like, the ninth
yes. And
degree.
they're like, "No, you're not." And I'm like, they're like, "Let me see your driver's license." I'm like, "I'm living my life." You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to prove
Yeah,
who
yeah.
I am to you. Like,
Yeah.
either you know. And then that's also funny. People are like, "Are you someone?" And I'm like, "Aren't we all someone?"
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, I have a rule. I'm like, if you don't say it, I'm not saying it because not my biggest fear, that's ridiculous, but like a thing that I'm like, I'm just not going to put myself in that situation. So I always have to have the other person say Wizards because I never want to have happen that they go, "I know you from something," and you go, "Wizards," and they go, "Nope," and you're just like.
I know why you're saying that. I was on a date one time at Hugo's.
Yeah,
And there
I
was
love that
this
place.
younger kid like recognizing me in the booth. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, getting recognized on a date and this and that. And I was like, excuse me. So I went over and I was like, "Do you want to take a picture with me?" And the mom was like, "Creep munch? Like, why?" And I was like, "Well, I'm on a show." And the kid didn't know who I
Oh
was.
no.
And I was like, "Oh,
It's
sorry."
humbling. That's what I'm saying. As I'm just trying to skip that whole and on the date too. Oh God, did your date see?
Yeah, of course.
Oh no.
So silly. Okay.
Okay, we're back in.
So that actress, it didn't get to be on the show anymore.
No, it was kind of a one and done. But this starts Justin on like this series of him dating a myriad of supernatural creatures, including werewolves, centaurs, ghosts, angels, until he finally meets Julia, not Yulia, but Julia, his vampire counterpart.
Hey everybody, this episode of Wizards of Waverly Pod is brought to you by Prose. Are you skeptical about custom beauty?
I used to be. Yeah.
My wife Yulia, everyone.
Yeah, I actually did not know what to do with my hair until David introduced me to Prose. And now look at this.
Yeah, each and every bottle of Prose's custom hair skincare is made to order and personalized with a unique blend of natural, powerful, proven ingredients to meet your needs.
Yeah, so what happened was I moved to the United States. Before that, my hair was actually fine. And then all of a sudden it went downwards. And David introduced me to Prose, and I was like, "What is that? You have to fill out all these things. They ask you all these questions about, where you live." And it turned out the water here is really hard. And now I know from experience, one-of-a-kind formulas equal 1 in a million results because all the heads are different. Try Prose for yourself and get your healthiest hair in 30 days. Or your money back.
Yeah, look at it. It's amazing. Your hair is perfect.
It's
on
bouncy
point.
now
On
and-
point with Prose.
Yeah.
Prose is so confident that you'll love your result that they're offering my listeners an exclusive trial offer so you can see the difference custom care can make.
And now listen to this. 50% off your first subscription order at prose.com/wizards. That's prose.com/wizards for your free consultation and 50% off your one-of-a-kind formulas. prose.com/wizards.
Prose.com.
So it turns out, like we were saying, Justin's blind date is Isabella, Sarah Ramos. she is pretty because remember Alex was like, oh, she's gonna be a dog, haha.
Right.
But when Alex asks her to hand her sweater, she starts growling and playing tug of war with it, and starts doing these series of very canine things.
Right, and not in front of Justin because he goes upstairs to get something.
Well, he's got the sitcom. Oh, look over here thing.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because Alex and Justin talk to each other.
Yeah.
Like very kind of candidly in front of her. She's right there.
Again,
you know?
the sitcom.
Yeah.
This.
So like if you lean in
you're
slightly,
whispering.
or if that person's not in the camera shot, then they magically can't hear you.
Yeah.
You know.
What was so obviously Isabella is gonna do. She's already doing weird things on the date. What's the weirdest thing a date has ever done?
I was with someone, and I was very much like I don't want to be intimate with someone. For a little while. I really want to get to know you.
Sure.
I was really looking
That's
for a
healthy.
relationship. Yeah. And we dated for quite a while for me. And then finally, when we were intimate, no joke, 1 minute after, you've changed. Ever since we've been together, you've changed. And I laughed. I was like, this is
A
so
minute?
funny. 1 minute. Okay, maybe it was 2 minutes, but it was very
still.
quick. Ever since we've been together, you've changed. And I was like, what the
Did she elaborate?
No, but she did end up coming over with a knife, trying to get into my house later.
Oh my God.
Okay, so that's the worst.
Okay, I love that you're like the weirdest thing was that she said you changed 2 minutes later, but then just aside, oh yeah, she came over with a knife. Oh my
It's
Lord.
in the same vein. It's the same person. Oh, God.
Geez.
Okay,
I mean,
how about you, Jen?
I
What
love
was
you to
the
death,
weirdest
but
thing?
yeah, there were some that were I was just like, love the crazies. Early on, you've learned, you've grown, you've gotten better. But yeah, early on, there was some crazies.
Yeah.
I had a guy who he showed me, you know that documentary, The Grizzly Man, where like it's
the guy who like lived with bears and stuff.
and then he gets like him and his girlfriend get like mauled and eaten by said bears because they're bears. There's a reason we don't live with them, you know? He was like, oh, have you heard the audio of them being murdered? And I was like, no, because that sounds awful. I don't want to hear that. And he goes, no, come on. And so he pulls it up and starts giggling.
Oh, God.
And I just remember being like, you're a sociopath.
Well, at least he showed you who he is. Yeah.
Well, I was like, I was horrified. So after that, I was like, oh, yeah, no more, because you're going to murder me and then record it and giggle like you weirdo. Anywho, okay, so Isabella's being weird, doing some dog shit. And then meanwhile, Max and Alfred, his friend for like 3 episodes, are taking their teacher's dog Tucker for a walk, as she said that she'll pay them $5 a day to walk him so they can buy cups on a chain so they don't have to keep asking for cups, which Teresa rightfully goes, we work at a sub shop. You can just have cups.
Right. We have a plethora of cups.
Yeah, it was, very funny, like B-side storyline. Jerry and Teresa confuse Isabella as one of Alex's friends because she's too pretty to date Justin, reminds them that a pretty girl can be with him. Alex catches Isabella lapping water out of a cup. Jerry and Teresa try to discourage Justin from dating from WizFace.
But if I may, you know, already we knew. Jerry and Teresa knew that you shouldn't meet someone online, you know?
Yeah.
And back then it was like, I think OkCupid or no.
Like eHarmony?
eHarmony was like the thing. And my cousin, I remember, met her husband on eHarmony, and I was like, you met on the line? That's so weird, you know?
Because at the time when we were shooting this, it was like super weird to like meet your spouse or your partner or whatever online. But now it's like, I feel like so many relationships are like, oh yeah, we met on Tinder. And I'm like,
now,
okay.
When I was watching this, when I entered, I didn't remember this episode at all. Not one thing that I remember.
This is one of your blackout episodes?
Yeah, I totally don't remember. But when I came in, and you're not in this one, right?
No. I might be like digging in the bushes in the back,
which I was
but
like,
you don't see me.
the fuck? But because when they had Alex and Justin kind of like doing their thing, because you were, you know, still liking Justin at that point. So you being there just kind of on the ride for this would have been weird.
Didn't make sense. Well, and also
he's on a date with a girl.
Yeah, it didn't make sense. And also, because I mean, there were some times where he would have love interests where Harper would like be jealous for a hot minute and then like run off because Harper was always running off somewhere.
Right. See you at PE.
Before I was all episodes, I mean, contractually, that was usually when I wasn't in them. Is when it was a Alex and Justin heavy episode.
So silly.
So this was one of those.
But when I'm standing there, And
Are you talking about in the kitchen?
it's in the sub shop, and I'm like, you're Alex's friend.
Yeah.
Because Justin with a cute girl was so random.
Which is so
and then when Maria comes in, she says, "Oh, I'll go get Alex." You know what I mean? I thought that was
it was a really good one too.
Yeah, and then also trying to get him. Justin was very naive in this episode because for the longest time he doesn't see the truth.
Well, again, sitcom.
He's in denial. Yeah, right.
The sitcom look away.
But I loved it. I was trying to get him into the kitchen.
Yeah.
You know, we got to talk about that thing. And what thing? The thing with and I just give up. And I'm like, you stay here. You come with, you know.
Yeah.
And then we have this whole conversation in the kitchen and the writers being very clever.
Yeah.
Picked up on the fact that she's standing, you know, just on the other side of the counter, which is where the opening, and it's like we're talking very candidly.
Yeah.
And then we look and she's right there. And I'm like, she just heard everything we said.
Yeah.
And I love that. I was like, we should really get a roll top down thing. We should be able to close this so we can have private conversations. Okay.
No, I love that our writers did that. How they would kind of like address the elephant in the room rather than just ignoring it of like, yeah, we are talking about this character right in front of her face.
What I love about this and doing this with you is I get to watch this objectively.
Yeah.
And yes, sometimes I'm like, oh, this is terrible. And then sometimes I'm laughing and it's funny.
Well, sometimes it's like looking at like old high school yearbooks where you're like, oh God, that haircut was so weird. Why did I make that choice? But you know, it's the nice part about having so much time between actually doing it is it's not quite as close and personal.
Exactly.
So I remember really specifically that scene in the kitchen where you guys are talking to him about, you know, how dangerous his face is and the centaur and how you do need to not talk about people in front of their face. But I remember the season 2 blooper reel with Maria just not being able to get through the, like, you didn't know she was a centaur when you met her, that line. Like, I just have so much, like, such a visceral memory of her, like, kind of just, like, giggling and finding that just, like, tickled her funny bone for some reason. So hearing that line back, I was just like,
that's the best. When we would break or when something would happen or it would be funny.
Bloopers are the best. Why don't they do those anymore at the end of movies? I wish they did.
I don't know, but you know that one of the first times that they played bloopers at the end of a film during, like, the credits or something was Smokey and the Bandit, which my dad was not in.
Yeah.
But they did the bloopers. And I think that Hal Needham, who was the director, and Burt Reynolds, they knew it was so funny because they were like, this is so funny, we should put it in at the end. Yeah. So they kept rolling. You know what I mean? They didn't cut and, compose yourself and we'll move on. They just kept rolling. He's like, Bert's like, I'll get it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And then the classic Cannonball Run bloopers with my dad and Bert. And if you haven't seen that, go look up Cannonball Run bloopers. I dare you not to laugh during that. It's the funniest thing.
Oh, I have no doubt.
Because my dad would break and then Bert would be like, and smack him on the face or something. It's so funny. Okay.
I don't know if I've seen those. I'll have to, which I know my dad would be like, I can't believe
Stone.
you. I know.
It's the funniest.
I'll look it up for sure. Because like I said, the stuff with your dad is so hysterical.
Is funny.
It's just, anyhow.
Do yourself a favor, everybody.
I will. I will find it and share it with you and I will watch it with you. So Justin and Isabella go for a walk in the park. Isabella spends all her time rolling around on the grass, chasing squirrels, buses, a guy on a bike, and running up to strangers excitedly and saying, hello, hello, hello.
And it's weird because the way they justified that, not weird, but the way they justified that was she ran away from David. So he didn't see all of her
And the park is not that big.
The park was like
the tiniest
you can also
circle.
see, like, if you look at the grass, it really looks like they kind of put it in there. And we Victor and Guy really used the director.
Yeah.
They really used that area because, like, we're walking through, it's the same bushes, and then all of a sudden we're there.
They got creative because that was our swing set, which I'm gonna do a Deluise, and our swing set is whatever, like, different, whether it was a roller rink, whether it was the school, whether it was the park, whether it was heaven or whatever,
would be off to the
side thing. So
and
we only
the primary,
had so much space.
you have your primary sets, which was with the layer, the
sub
apartment, and the sub shop.
Yeah, those were our primary sets. And then occasionally, like I said, Tribeca Prep was a swing set, but it was also too, because the way our sets were done, it was the like Waverly Place, the sub shop, the lair, and then the apartment. And then Tribeca Prep was kind of in that
Off to the
space
side,
off to the side. And then the swing set would be over on this section right there.
Right.
It was kind of like an L.
You just took me back, Jen. I just remember just the audience and the set and the energy that we had when we were shooting. It just was.
It was invigorating.
It was so much fun. And the fans, I'm trying not to say fuck as much, but the fucking fans were so excited. Yeah. Even in the first season, they were all so amped and
but we also too. I mean, you got to give like Ezra and Darren credit, who we're gonna have on the show, but like they were our warm up guys. Yeah. They're the ones who make sure that the audience is staying, awake. And especially that first season where they don't have a concept of like what the show is because they've never seen it. They don't know who we are or the story or the characters. They did such a great job of keeping them like lively and excited and dancing and playing games and like all these kind of things. It was infectious. It was really infectious.
It's crucial to have a good warm-up person because the audience sits there for hours.
Yeah, sometimes, when it's a live taping, especially when your audience are children, it's very important.
Sometimes it's like more than 4 hours, like 4 or 5 hours to shoot the show. And when they shot Friends, they would shoot up till sometimes 2 or 3 in the morning because so many alts and everything. They would actually load out the first audience and load in another audience. People would be waiting.
Well, they had such a big audience for that show too.
Okay, so when they're in the park, the tree is Alex.
Yes.
And somebody comes up and puts a flyer on the tree.
Which is Tears of Blood.
Tears of Blood, which is David, the band.
Yeah.
That I just loved that we had a made up, you know what I mean? That it was a made up band that we played with. Okay.
When Peter Murrieta, the showrunner, was such like a punk rocker. So I love that it was a band that kind of lended itself to that sort of punk rock thing,
Exactly.
Which I'm shocked that Disney let us use Tears of Blood as the band.
Yeah.
Like the fact that we could even say blood on Disney, because usually they're so like cookie cutter of like what we are and are not allowed to do.
We couldn't do the peaceable. We couldn't do that.
Well, yeah, because that's FU in Europe and England. Right. Yeah.
Well, this is.
Yeah.
But that's the peace
which was
signal,
very
right?
big in 2008. Everybody wanted to do this.
The peace signal.
Yeah. But okay. So Alex has turned herself into the tree, gets the Tears of Blood poster stapled to her. And then Max and Alfred come by because, everybody's got to be in the park at the same time. Alex tells him that Isabella is a dog, demonstrating this by throwing a Frisbee for her to fetch. Justin says that Alex just doesn't like the fact that he's falling in love. Alex asks Isabella if she left out any information on her WizFace profile, like the fact that she's a dog. And Isabella says, "Oh, no, I'm not a dog. I'm a werewolf."
Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. The plot thickens.
Be werewolf. She says that werewolves are loving and don't eat people. And then Justin kisses Isabella on the cheek, only for Isabella to go, "Oh, yeah, by the way, those who kiss werewolves become one themselves."
Which is really weird because when Greg comes and they kiss
a lot.
She doesn't turn into a werewolf.
There was a few episodes we did. There was that one episode where we meet like his family and become werewolves because I remember we all had that makeup on. But she kisses him multiple times and doesn't become a werewolf.
I turned into a werewolf?
I know I did.
Oh, I don't remember turning into. I know I turned into like a cockroach.
Yeah.
Dad's bugging out.
That one's a hard one to forget.
Well, I guess we'll see it when we see it.
For someone like I'm a geek about like folklore and that kind of stuff, and I looked this up because I was like, it's not kissing.
So how do you turn into a werewolf?
Shut up, Dollar.
That's so cliche, as she would say. She said in this episode, that's so cliche,
But the vampires, werewolves love that shit, right? So every lore I've heard says like you can either be bitten, scratched. There's some like weird medieval superstitions, which is part of why I love folklore, is because usually it's just. Well, there's one that like if you drink water or bathe in a stream on a full moon, like that a werewolf has had like drank in or bathed in, like you'll become one.
Okay.
Like, medieval times were weird, right? So I think there was one, hold on.
But kissing, and they didn't hold true to that. Like if you're going to set something up.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I guess like dragon goes away. I mean, there's just
like I said, it goes to Dragonland, the kissing the werewolf thing.
Right, because when Mason and Alex kissed, she didn't turn into a werewolf.
Because it didn't serve the plot that week. But to me, I'm like kissing like a creature and becoming that is like a princess and a toad or like a vampire or even a siren, but not a werewolf.
Right.
Just felt a little weird.
Well,
also the werewolf prosthetics kind of look like, the dogs that get stung by a bee on their nose. That's what it kind of looked like to me.
It did look like that. And also, if I may,
Yeah.
Very different from what Greg turned into.
Yes.
Because the you know, like we morphed, like different type of werewolf. Like that's the werewolf from somewhere else. I mean, they looked very different.
They
right?
did. Well, and I feel like Greg looked more scary. So maybe that was just, I mean, I'm sure they spent more money on Greg's prosthetics than they did Sarah's for Isabella's. So like I'm sure that was part of it.
Yeah.
But like yeah, they did definitely look different. Maybe they were just for different regions of werewolf. Because he was British and she was American,
regions.
so different regions of werewolf.
It was interesting too because when they're sitting on the couch and that information comes out, I'm just really looking at everything. David put his hand on her leg.
Oh, that's some spicy Disney business.
Right? You know what I mean? Like, and they kissed. Remember, there was a whole episode, first kiss, where he couldn't kiss.
Yeah.
You know,
and now he's got it.
Yeah, now he's like, I got it, and I'm turning into a werewolf. But he does say, now technically, we're still on our first blind date.
Yes.
We have not changed that.
Yeah.
And he says, this is my girlfriend. One of his lines, did you notice that?
Yes, Justin was very quick to jump into a relationship.
He's like, I got a U-Haul and we're moving in together.
Exactly. I feel like all the way through, like, I feel like he's one of those like love bomb dudes where like he meets a girl, she likes him, and that's all he needs to be like, so our kids' names are going to be this. Here's what ring do you want? Like, he's very much a let's jump head over heels into this.
It's really fun.
I think Justin just loves to be loved. And so.
But now I'm not talking out of turn, like putting his hand on her leg. That was like a big deal.
It's spicy for Disney, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it is.
So interesting.
Considering we had to be like completely like, I was going to say flaccid, but like completely like stiff kiss, you know?
Right. You know? I was going to say rigor mortis kiss. No, but
that is what it is.
Okay.
You know?
So also now David is turning into a werewolf.
Yes.
And it's so funny because it's just so much easier not to have him morph into and do a special effect.
Well, he
just goes behind the couch and then cut and then pops up as a werewolf.
What I love too, because like I think of all of like the different werewolf things I've seen over the years, and it's always this horribly painful, like all of your like limbs and back and stuff are changing and stuff.
And then
but
of course she says that's stereotypical.
Yeah, it's not painful at all. It's not uncomfortable.
Am I saying the right word? Yeah. She says that in the thing?
Yeah, it's a stereotype. But yeah, and of course, we have a Disney Channel budget, so we're not going to see that whole big transformation. So Justin tells Alex after he turns into a werewolf, see, again, I can't even say werewolf, and freaks out, that she shouldn't tell their father so that he can say, I told you so. Right. Then he tells her that they're going to run away to the park because of Alex keeps making these like lame werewolf jokes. And Justin feels like they and their love are welcomed in the park, unlike the Russo family home.
Yeah, Alex in this made like 15 different, like
punny.
I'm making punny jokes. It was interesting. And then also she is like, I don't give a heck about my brother. Like, let him be a werewolf. I don't care, And it was interesting because Justin wanted to continue his relationship with her,
he loves love.
but not want to be, stay with me here,
yeah.
not want to be a werewolf because he's like, don't tell dad we're in the park. So he can't change it. He was like, help me.
Yeah.
But if he stayed with her, then every time they kissed, he turned into a werewolf or whatever, so it was very, it was an odd thing that he was trying to get out of it rather than just saying, hey, I'm not going to date you. You're a werewolf. Help.
But come on. I think we all know that sort of like whipped guy that, he can't disagree with the girl. He can't upset the girl. So he has to find some other way out of it. And I feel like Justin at this point in the story is, he's 16. He's not the most emotionally mature in the world. Yeah. So yeah, of course he doesn't want to hurt her feelings or get out of that. So it's much easier to throw it on the parents and have you guys end it for him.
Okay, so Max comes in with his cup on a rope and he was going to give one to Justin, but he decides to give it to Alex.
Yeah, which they're like these...
Yeah, they're like a
hurricane,
big, very
New Orleans,
long,
like...
Right, with a big straw, big kind of plastic
just like
cup
purple
thing.
things, yeah.
And just that, Alex is like... I can't deal with this. I need Justin back. Yeah. So I'm going to go help him because Max is not going to be fun to tease or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, that was interesting. Her motivation was about her because I don't want to be around Max. And I want to go make fun of Justin. So I'm going to go help him. That was just so funny to me.
Well, come on. The annoying little brother, you're not going to be like, well, this is not quite as fun for me because.
I know, but it just was interesting because it was like Alex shouldn't want to help Justin, but we have to give her a reason that's going to be for her.
Well, but also too, I feel like part of what Alex enjoyed so much was that Justin would get so bent out of shape. Max didn't really, like, his feathers didn't really get ruffled. Like, stuff didn't bother him. It either went over his head or he just didn't care.
Right.
So he was harder to mess with, I feel like. So I feel like that was to justify it, no pun intended. But like, I feel like that was probably more why Alex enjoyed picking on Justin.
Of course, because she could get to him.
Yeah.
You know,
Max is a harder nut to crack for sure.
When I come to the park, and I've got the squeaky toy. Now you have to help me here. I don't know if you remember this, but I have a squeaky toy trying to, like get him, like he's a werewolf dog now or whatever. And then Maria doesn't want to be there. And I said, don't worry, we're going to be, like it's going to be fast or something. We'll get she said something about, I want to go to the mall or something rather than the park. And then I said, don't worry, we'll get pretzels soon or something. And I didn't understand. I didn't get it. I watched it like 5 times. I was like, what is it? Did you get that?
No. It was just kind of, to me, that was just kind of a placating of like, oh, we'll get out of here fast and then we'll get something that you want.
Okay.
Right?
I watched it so many times. I felt like they cut out like the setup to the joke, and then they
because
that
happened all the time, right? Like we had 22 minutes that we could hit, and we had to hit that. And you know this from directing, right? Of like there were jokes you had to cut, and there was stuff that you were like,
right? I mean,
we just don't have
the
time.
first episode that I directed, we were 5 minutes over, so
a lot of time.
What you cut to is story.
Yeah,
that's the primary thing, and telling the story. You come back from act break, you got to remind them of that. I mean, I had to cut a whole scene that was 2 minutes long between Maria and Selena. That was great.
Yeah.
But you have to get that 22 and a half minutes, So I learned a lot.
But maybe that's what you were missing. Maybe there was some gag with the pretzel that they just had to cut for time in post,
Yeah, maybe.
Because it was a little abrupt of like, pretzel.
It was very odd. But I did learn something that Victor taught me, our staff director, that when you're having a big, long scene, if a character's entering the scene, film them enter clean. Like only shoot them coming in because that's where you can edit start.
Yeah.
If you need to, you can remove the beginning and just have that character enter, and then that's the beginning of the scene. Okay.
Like you were saying, at this point, Alex realized she has to get Justin back or else she'll be stuck with Max and his spit-filled cup on a chain because he wanted to do like a contest where he
spit.
this
How much
thing
spit?
And like spit to fill it up. Blech. So Isabella and Justin are sitting in the park and talking about werewolf stereotypes, like how they don't change only during a full moon, but every night. And Justin tries to get his parents' attention to catch him, which we were talking about. Right. And Justin reveals that he likes werewolf movies. And this upsets Isabella because werewolf movies are so wrong and says it's something that he should have listed on his profile.
Yet she didn't say that she's a werewolf.
Yeah, and then they get into a whole argument of like, really? You're mad at me that I didn't list the werewolf, that I like werewolf movies, and you didn't list that you are a werewolf?
Right.
So Teresa and Jerry, find him with the squeaky toy. Justin runs towards his family. And then Teresa lectures him, and Jerry says he knows a recipe for a potion that will change him back conveniently.
Very conveniently.
Well, we're at minute 20 now. We got to,
I'm trying to remember here. He said, you run that way and I'll run this way, and then.
In the park that's like this big.
Yeah. But she runs away. We don't see her again.
No.
Right? She runs
into the bushes.
With Dragon, the dog.
With Dragon. She goes to Dragonland.
We never see her again.
No.
That's so funny. I just realized that they didn't kind of wrap that up.
She goes with Jeremy with science. She goes with Dragon. She goes with Alfred. She goes with all of these different things that are in like the back like studio house of Wizards of Waverly Place.
It'd be funny if we ever do a reboot.
Yeah.
And we just open the door to a closet. It's Dragon. It's her. It's this. All this stuff is there, and then we're like, you are Jeremy.
Oh no, Jeremy from Science.
That would be funny. Okay.
Oh man.
So now Jerry knows that there's a potion that can help.
Yeah. So he bathes in it.
Ooh, wait, pause.
Yes.
When back in when they turn into a werewolf in the apartment.
Yes.
They're like, we're going to go for a walk in the park. They run out the patio.
Yeah.
And then they jump off the ledge.
Yeah.
Do you know, like, how high was the ledge they just jumped off?
Well, I mean, they're superhuman, so
I know, but that was interesting.
It was
to
an
me.
interesting choice.
Because every once in a while there would be like, I don't know, a helicopter one episode is there.
So it was high enough.
Yeah, it was high enough that, I mean, it's at least a whole story because the apartment is above the sub shop.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's high.
I just thought that was so far. I was like, wait a minute, they just jumped over the ledge. That's so weird. You know, they did a superhero land.
Well,
Okay,
I guess the alternative was either we go down the stairwell, which you never see. We never see the stairwell or like how they get down.
Which, by the way, and I'm sure we've said this, but the stairs from the loft down, there was only 3 stairs. And then it was, it was the set floor.
Yeah.
So you would have to go, I'm going down the stairs and then kind of like keep going down, like you're disappearing.
Well, I was talking about the front door stairs. We never see those. No, but you're right, because we do see the layer.
Like
we
you
see
mean
where
out
those
the out the front door of the apartment.
Out the front door of the apartment.
Yeah, we never went into that hallway, right?
Though no, not really. I think we're in that kind of the entryway once or twice, but we never go past the entryway to the hallway. But I was always interested too in the sub shop stairs that just lead directly to their apartment. Like that feels like a safety issue.
Yeah, right.
Like just any customer can go right up to the apartment. There has to be some kind of like door that locks or something.
No, there was no door. There was
I know there wasn't. Yeah, that's a big safety concern. Danger, Will Robinson. Okay, so he knows a recipe for a potion that'll change him back. First, Justin bathes in it, and then Jerry realizes he actually didn't have to bathe in it, but it really was a drinking potion, confusing the words ingest, like drinking, meaning ingest.
Like it's funny,
joking.
like I'm making a joke. I really liked that.
That was a fun bit.
I thought that was
You played it off really nicely. And then Alex and Max encourage Justin to chug the potion water he's bathing in, which he does, and he turns back to his human form. So
Teresa was pretty mean in this episode, by the way.
She
kept
spicy.
getting on me. She was very angry with me. You mean I had to clean that garbage pail, the coffee grinds and the eggshells out of there for nothing,
Yeah.
And then the setting up the joke of David coming up and saying, I think I just ate an eggshell or something, you know. But she was not happy with me the whole time.
To play devil's advocate, I probably wouldn't be jazzed if my husband had brought magic into the family and then that turned my son into a werewolf.
Wow, so Teresa just was pissed off at Jerry the entire life?
No. But I'm just saying that particular week because he turned into a werewolf. She doesn't know if he's ever going to get to turn back. I'd be a little salty.
Right, the magic willy-nilly is no good.
Magic going willy-nilly.
I have the best picture of David and Selena while he's in there. I mean, if I remember something from this episode, that's what I remember. That he was in there.
That. I remember it being a whole thing because he was shirtless and everybody was so excited about that. And I remember the audience being like, woo, and it was just, and I was always like, about it. So.
And I also, we're into the second season and I'm happy with the way that I look, but I was skinnier in the first season.
Okay.
And in the second and third season,
you were happy.
I had a TV show. I had a job. I had a girlfriend. I had free food.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? On set. So
you could see the free food starting
I was a little bigger. But the red shirt that I wear in this episode, I have.
Oh, there you go.
I have that shirt.
I love
free clothes.
Okay, so in the tagline, Justin reconnects with his centaur girlfriend, the sort of catfish situation we'd heard about earlier from WizFace. Which is hilarious.
Yeah, they don't. He's talking to her, and we don't know she's the centaur yet until they kind of pull back.
Yeah, they do the wide shot.
Justin is so mean to her. Now, the whole time, everybody was saying she was a centaur. She was a centaur, and he was like, "Hey, I didn't have to get a limo. I just, I had a saddle so that we got there. It was cheaper."
Yeah.
But he says to her, "I want." They talk about slow dancing.
Yeah.
Right. And then she's like, okay, I'm ready to slow dance. And he's like, I'm out of here. And
it's like, why even bring it up?
Well, it was weird that he just kind of walked away from her. It seemed very unnice.
Well, it was strange that he reconnected with her just to be like,
I'm out.
Yeah. That part I thought was weird, that he just like reconnected with her. But that's the thing where you suspend disbelief, right? Of like, well, it's the funny tag. We've talked about the centaur the whole episode, which is kind of the perfect catfish creature because from the waist up, they look totally normal.
Also, by the way, we have a centaur, a woman/horse, standing in the sub shop in New York.
Yeah.
Like it's no problem.
Well, we're close.
She's not in the layer. She's not up in the upstairs.
We're closed, full windows. But we're close. So it's mind your business.
That would have been a good tag.
Oh, yeah.
Where he goes upstairs and someone is like, just outside looking in the window like, huh?
But then that would have been a whole like have to Men in Black like forget their memory or like, erase their memory kind of thing.
Right. Which we did in the baseball episode.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name of the spell, but we read it. I had a real hard time with that because I'm like, how can you remember the spell if you
went back in time and forgot it?
Yes.
Yeah. In the episode, right, I have 2 questions for you to wrap up.
Oh my God, I'm ready, Jen Stone.
Since you asked me all of the trivia about social media at the start, he turns into a werewolf, obviously. If you could be any creature from folklore, what would you want to be?
Vampire. That's what I chose.
You'd be a vampire? Okay,
yeah.
That's a good one.
And you?
You know what? I'd probably do a vampire as well. One, because I mean, I don't know if I'd want to live forever, but I would have loved to have lived through like different time periods.
Yeah, but vampires do die.
They do die.
They can die.
So yeah, if I ever get over it, I'll just step into the sun and burst into like dust.
Go,
Perfect. Right? I'll just off myself as a vampire.
Unless it's cliche and it's just only in the movies, but a real life vampire.
Well, you
can just stab yourself in the heart with some wood, right?
Yes, you can with a stake. But all right, last question, and then we are done. If you could have a reversal potion for anything, and don't say your divorce. You can't say you're divorced.
Jen Stone knows me so well. Okay.
What would you use a reversal potion for?
Having the problem when I was done with Wizards, I was testing to be on Grimm, to be the
I remember you saying this.
There was one day that overlapped with the shooting, and it wasn't even a shoot day. It was like the last couple of days of Wizards, and there was like you're insured as an actor, so there was one day of insurance that was overlapping. I was literally in my car driving to Universal to have the test, and my agent told me to drive back, and then Sean Hayes, who was one of the producers, called me. He was like, where the fuck are you? And I was like, I was told not to come. He was like, you should come. And then they didn't find their guy.
Yeah.
And if I could have reversed my something, it would have been that I didn't listen to my agent. And then I just went there and be like, hey, let's work this out. I would have done that now.
Yeah.
Well,
hey, it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission.
But the actor who played the partner on Grimm is very talented and great. And that's a
But
wonderful
he's not
show.
you. Come on.
But it would have been a very different thing for me, and I would have been out of town. I wouldn't have been in town. And Dylan, my youngest, was, 13. So I would have missed out on, 13 to however long the show went. Would have been in and out of town. So it was nice that I was with her and had that time. So, and how about you, Jen? What would you reverse with your reverse?
I agree with you.
Potion?
I think that, things happen how they're supposed to. What I would reverse would be my fuck it moments that I've had with like dudes over the years where I'm like, I'm going to say this or I'm just going to do this. And a lot of times it's better to just
several things that you want to
of course.
I only could choose one.
No, I've embarrassed myself multiple times. So if I could just drink a potion and be like, you know what, maybe less is more. And maybe let's not come on so strong or not, maybe they don't have to hear or like deserve to hear everything that you're feeling in this moment. Like maybe less is more. Like sometimes being silent is a response.
Less is more.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've learned it now. I'm just saying like in my 20s, it would have been nice to just reverse some of those things,
That's the potion, by the way.
Yeah.
All right, Jen. I'm just going to remind everybody that you follow the Bigfoot Cafe on Instagram or on Twitter. And no, not Twitter, on TT. What is TT? TikTok.
Yeah.
And if you answer the trivia question correctly, you could either get a Bigfoot Cafe shirt or a free cameo from me or a 5-minute interview, like say hello over FaceTime. So can you tell I'm trying to get people to follow the Bigfoot Cafe?
No, it's good. Hey, like I said, you're better promotion than I am. But anyway, all right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Okay, cue the music, everybody.
Do, do, do,
Bye-bye now.